In this lesson, we'll finish the setup of our bank and continue on creating our controls. So the bank is just about finished. We need to make sure that it'll be connected to its right attribute, the bank attribute, so everything will work right. And we'll see if we can also add some knee controls. And I do want to mention we're just about ready to begin our leg stretch procedure, so we'll be starting that shortly too. But let's get right to our bank. With the foot selected, we want to go to our set driven key window. We'll be using that, and we'll load it up on the driver side and go to the bank. Now for the driven, that's going to be these two objects that we're using for our bank. So it's going to be our left bank and also our right. We can go ahead and select both and load them up. We'll select both of their controls within our driven side, and now we need to figure out what axis we're going to be rotating in. Well, that is going to be our Z axis for both sides. We can see we can move that around for our right side of the bank, and also if we select the left side, you can see that we're going to be moving in the Z as well. So knowing that, we could select both, and being that our bank attribute is set to 0, we'll go to our rotate Z and set a key. Now from here we'll do single selections just to make sure that we don't have both of them keying at the same time, but now we want to do individual connections. And as far as the limit that we want to give, we want it to be a pretty extreme of an angle, so again the animator can get more control. So going to our left side of the bank, we can see as we rotate it, I think 50 is going to be a good enough room. I think 50 is going to work on the right side too pretty well, because that's an extreme position for the foot. So we'll go ahead and use 50 for both. Okay, a positive and negative 50. So with this left side, we'll want a negative 50. So let's go ahead and set that up. We'll go to our control. We'll put in a value of, we can even slide to the right and see that we're going in the positive direction. Okay, so we'll put in a value of positive 50 for our bank. And then as we get to the left side, if we were to move in that same direction, going to the characters, well actually it'd be the characters left side, our right. But if we're going in that same direction, we can see that we're moving in the negative. So we'll just put in that value of negative 50 and hit key selected. Great. We could always go to our bank and test that out. Notice it's moving just fine. Great. Excellent. So with that done, we'll bring our bank back to 0. We'll go to our right side and make sure that our bank now is actually set to a value of negative 50, excuse me. So put that in, go to our right side and put in a value of positive 50 here and hit key selected. So now what we should get is this really nice bank. If we go to our control, go to our bank and move that back and forth, notice, alright, now we're getting this really good looking bank. Okay, and even if we were to, let's say, roll up the foot by the heel, if we were to test out our bank here too, notice we're getting a really nice looking bank even from there, so that's really cool. Well, with this done, of course, we need to apply it to our left side now. So select our control, go back to our set driven key, load that up as the driver, go into our bank, and it's going to be a similar procedure. We'll want to select both of our controls for the bank, load those up, select them, and again it's going to be the rotate Z. So we'll hit key selected. We'll go ahead and bring our bank attribute to a value of positive 50 and go to our right bank as we move that in the positive direction. Okay, so it's going to be positive aligned with positive here, as we can see. So we'll put in that value of positive 50 and we'll hit, let me go ahead and undo that key because we did have both selected. We just want one selected here. And that's going to be our right side. So again, going to our bank, we'll just go ahead and put in a value of positive 50. Okay, since our bank should already be set to 50, and hit key. Then from there we can go to our bank and put in a value of negative 50. Go to our left, put in a value of negative 50 here, and hit key selected. Great, so if we select our control, go to our bank, we should notice that we're getting a nice looking bank as we go back and forth. Wonderful. So that's the setup of our bank. Simple as that. And our next task is going to be to make sure we have some knee controls to move those around. So let's go ahead and work on that. What we can do here is use more curves. Okay, this time our text curve. So let's go to create. We'll go to text, open that up, and let's give it a K for knee. Okay, so the animator could easily know what that's going to do, and we'll hit create. Alright, once this is here, what I'd like to do is basically ungroup this curve so that when I select it, I'm only selecting the curve, don't need to worry about any extra group nodes that we don't need. Okay, we don't want to add anything extra, just the things that we really need. So we'll select the curve, or actually we want to select its group, and we could go down to edit, and if you'd like you could even add ungroup to your shelf, so we can just keep adding things to our shelf as necessary. So we could go to ungroup and just add that, and we'll click it once, click it twice, and we get right to our curve. So now that that's there, we'll center its pivot so that it will be corrected, and let's go ahead and vert snap it to our top knee joint. Alright, and even scale it out a little bit more. Okay, probably down too, just to give it a more interesting looking design. So there is our knee control. Now in the past what I've done is gone ahead and move the knee control out, and you can definitely do that while animating, but because of the angle of the knee, okay, the way the foot is positioned, if we go ahead and move the knee out, when we go ahead and connect our pole vector constraint, the knee tends to get a different angle. Okay, so it won't follow this same angle as it's getting now because of that pole vector constraint when we move the control out. So for this case, we could just leave the knee control where it's at. Okay, that won't be a problem at all. So with that knee control there, we can freeze its transformations to clean it up. We can even give it a name. We can call it CC underscore R underscore knee 01. Again, the CC standing for control curve. Then we'll duplicate it, bring it to now the left side, freeze its transformations, and give it a name, call it CCL, and switch that 2 to a 1. Simple as that. Okay, so once we're happy with our controls, we're ready to make our connections. So we'll select our right, followed by our IK, and just go to Constrain, Pole Vector Constrain. Notice the leg doesn't shift. And we'll do the same thing for our left side. Select the control followed by the IK handle and just hit G to repeat the last tool to add that pole vector constraint. There it is. And of course, from here we can test it. We can just select our curve, making sure just the curve is selected, not selecting any bones, and just test that out, just moving that around. Alright, so his knee is twisting, looking nice. Okay, so we can just undo to bring that back. Do the same thing for the right, just testing that out. Wonderful. So everything's moving the way we like it to. Now, from here, let's go ahead and select both of our controls, and we will get rid of everything we don't need to see, so that's our rotate and even scale. Once we found a nice scale, and even the visibility, we don't need that, so we'll just go ahead and lock and hide. Now that that's done, we need to make sure it's in the right group, so we'll select both, and we'll place them right where they need to be, under the Control Objects group. Great, so after all of these things are done, even if we were to go to our scale, okay, and test that out, notice it's scaling fine. We can move it anywhere we like, and our feet are still working as we like them to be properly. Okay, and of course, if we move the foot, it's doing that because of our knee control, so we'll need to move that out. And it's as simple as that, nothing to it. It's just really bringing our character back to its bind pose. That's what we're going to be concerned about, making sure he could go right back in case we need to do anything else with our character. Okay, so the knees are established. We could even give them colors. Go into our display, go into our drawing overrides, giving it a color of red. There it is. Doing the same for the left side, giving that a color of blue. There you are. Okay, wonderful. So, with all of these things done, notice also if we go to our outliner and we collapse, notice how clean everything looks. So that's another benefit of these group nodes. But that does wrap up this lesson. So in the next lesson, we're ready to begin working on having these legs stretch.